सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। So we are seeing about desire management. Verse number 15 we have done, I think. And 15 we did, right? 16. Oh, okay. So human being has freedom, and one of the most important freedoms that we have is the freedom to desire. Stones don't have that capacity. Plants desire by nature, by instinct, to survive. Animals also have desires, but again that is controlled by nature. But human being has the freedom, sswatmananda it is called. We have the freedom to desire. And now that freedom to desire is like it has both pros and cons. All the progress, development, advancement, all that has happened because of human desire. It could be desire for comfort, desire for better living, it could be desire for money, it could be anything. But at the same time, desire also has created that much more stress, tension, worries. Sometimes objects being less, people being more, unfair means are adopted. So that freedom which is there to desire, is it possible to withdraw that freedom? Saying that, withdraw that freedom completely and let human being also be like anybody else, then there is no sorrow. That is not possible. Is it possible to continuously keep fulfilling all the desires of everybody? Is that the way to happiness? That also is not possible, because every time a desire is fulfilled, the result being temporary, it will again create more desire. So the example given for it is fuel which is offered into the fire. Desire is like that. In the mind, when the desire is fulfilled, further and further new desires arise. So one cannot completely run away from all desires. One cannot keep fulfilling all desires. One cannot withdraw that freedom that one has of desires. Hence, desire management is a very important aspect in one's own evolution and one's life also. In Bhaja Govindam we see different approaches which are given to the desire management. In the 14th verse we saw those people who try to run away from the desire, escapist. Jatilo mundi lunchita kesha kashayambara bahukrita vesha. They may put on ochre robes, they may even get all their hair removed. They may have long jata, any of these, Pashyannapichana pashyati mudaha. Even though knowing very clearly that this is not the way to rise above desires, they would still resort to escapism, thinking that if I go away from what are my duties, desires won't arise. Hridvara nimittam bahukrita vesha. But contradiction there is that they still want the basic desires to be fulfilled of hunger, thirst, etc. But they don't want to do anything for it. So by running away or escaping, desires don't, you cannot overcome that desire. Then there are those who will, we saw in the 15th verse, who keep indulging. What happens to such people? So we say, Angam galitam palitam mundam. The body becomes old, all the teeth have fallen, the hair have fallen. Nashana vihinam jatam tundam. Vriddho yati grihitva dandam. One walks with a stick, become hunchback. Tadapina munchati asha pindam. Still the desires don't leave a person. Meaning the body has become more and more infirm, incapable, but the mind has become younger and younger. Desire has become younger and younger. There is more and more craving to enjoy. Maybe some things one rises above, but then there are new things which one wants to crave, one craves for. So merely running away from desire is not a solution. Mere indulgence also is not a solution. Especially when we speak about self-control, at a certain point it is also thought that self-control is equal to suppression. And you should not suppress, and that Western philosophy was there a few years ago, that don't suppress, just express. Keep on enjoying your desires. But this psychological functioning of the mind is not understood. That every desire leaves a impression which further creates new desires. So it is an insatiable thirst. And hence desire becomes younger and younger, but body becomes old, infirm. And what a frustrating situation that is. So neither escapism from desire is a mature way to manage desire, nor complete indulgence. Then, can suppression do anything? So the last shloka we saw was 16th verse. Once again we chant that. Agre vanhi prishthe bhanuhu Ratrau chubuka samarpita januhu Karatala bhiksha starutala vasaha Tadapina munchatyasha pashaha Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. So then there are those who forcefully, with tremendous willpower, try to suppress that desire. How? Example given here is Agre Vannihi. There is fire in front of that person, Prishte Bhanuhu, and there is sun. Meaning one is getting scorched in heat. And in that is in the daytime. In night time, what does this person do? When it is very cold, one does not even use a blanket, and one is Ratrau Chubuka Samarpita Janum. Holding oneself so close and holding the face between the two hands and just sitting like that. Karatala bhikshas tarutala vasa. The person will eat only the food which fits into the two palms. Karatala bhikshas. That also one asks, one doesn't earn. Tadapina munchati asha pasha. Even then the desire will not go. Very easy to intellectualize and reject this shloka, saying what a useless way. Try doing any one of these. Austerity is necessary in life, but see, these are attempts that human being has made to try and manage desire. But maybe by forceful denial, it will slowly, the desire will drop if it is not fulfilled. So physically one is torturing oneself, putting the body through tremendous amount of discomfort. Because remember, comfort is one of the main motivators behind a desire. These people who have tried, they are not immature people. They are trying hard, but maybe their approach was not right. They are like a scientist experimenting. Some experiments will not be successful. So some of them, they tried that. So the desire for comfort is that which makes us want so many things. Basic comforts. And here are people who have attempted saying, even suppose I don't have basic comforts, let us see if desire remains in our mind. These are not escapists. These are people who are trying very hard to minimize that basic necessity for comfort. Even ordinary comforts which generally anybody would have, the roof of a house. The person, the way he is living, there is no roof on his head, above his head, no roof. Meaning not living in the comfort of a house, not having a bed, not having a blanket, not even having utensils. These are all basic things. And the definition of basic also varies for so many people. Owning a flat in World 1 Towers is basic for some people. What to do? Well, definition of basic will vary. That's the play of desire. Basic thing human being needs is a simple house, some food, some little bit of relaxation opportunity. What else one needs? But mind, status, power, so many things come into play. Natural, nothing wrong about that. But the idea is that here are people who have attempted that, basic things also let us remove and see, and then let us see if desire goes away. And remember, Buddha was one of them. It's not that some people have just tried. Buddha also tried this same thing. Tortured himself, did not even eat food, did not drink water. I don't know if you have seen some of the pictures of Buddha. You can see the rib cage. So thin and emaciated. He went away from the basic necessities, saying, I won't even eat. And still that, in Buddhism they called Mara, still that Mara did not go. Mara is Maya or desire. That desire did not leave the mind. In fact, if you see, when one is in that deprived state, desire is more stronger. You see, hunger pangs when they are there, do we want to eat sattvic food? Salad. When a hunger pang is happening, eat a salad. Out of our conditioning today, we are forced and then we may eat. But otherwise, hunger pang, if it is there, take some chatpata, chaat and chips and eat something and that's okay. So it's not easy to be in this state where somebody is trying to remove the basic things, and one finds that also is not, especially food. Food is such a thing. The human mind is very strange. I don't know if you have observed. Before hunger, the mind is in a particular state. After eating food, the mind is in another state only. The same mind. That's why they say meditate before you eat. Why? Because to that extent mind is alert sometimes. After you eat food, that same mind becomes indulgent, tamasic. So here they even tried Karatala Bhikshas Tarutala Vasa. See, when we study in Vedant course, sometimes it happens that like Shivratri day or Krishna Janmashtami day, when there is Upvas, full day only banana will be available. Now they have started giving sabudana and all that. Earlier, no. You work, how much hard work has to be done, and only banana is available. How many bananas can you eat in a day? Breakfast you go banana and milk, again lunch banana and milk, again snack banana and milk, again dinner banana and milk. You get tired of eating, but there is no other choice. Keep on eating banana. And sometimes, and that time we see physically there may be a discomfort, but the mind starts getting focused. Because one maybe the body itself is not strained so much because of not eating cooked food. Other is the tempo of that day itself is there. And the mind becomes single pointed. Food has a lot of impact on that mind. Same way, when we study Mandukya Upanishad, etc., in our batch it was not done, but very early in Gurudev, when we started the Sandipani, actually that time they used to get only 2 times food. Straight brunch at 11:30 and then dinner at 8 o'clock. Only 2 times food. And when Mandukya Upanishad starts, then only 1 time food. Only at 11:30. Nothing else. And Gurudev would tell people that eat less. You can contemplate more. That is one type of tapas. And it works also. You have to train yourself for it. So anyway, the point is that food. So here they have tried even to remove that basic necessity of dependence on food, different types of food, taste, all that. And yet it is that the desire does not go. Tadapina munchati asha pasha. Pasha means a rope which binds. So what is this play of desire then, if you think about it? And neither by indulging one can manage it, nor by suppressing one can manage, nor by escaping one can manage. What to do for this desire management? No, but why should we manage desire? Let them come, let them go, do whatever. But the issue is with that only. That when we try to live just without managing the desires, we become victims. So now desire management is a very important aspect here. In Bhaja Govindam there is this 17th shloka gives us one more approach which one has tried, and Shankaracharya says even that will not work. You just see here. Kurute Ganga Sagar Gamanam Vrata Paripalanam Athava Dhanam Jnana Vihina Sarvamatena Bhajati na muktim janma shatena Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. So he says, you may go to Ganga Sagar. Kurute Ganga Sagar Gamanam. So there are these 2 traditions which are there in our culture. Either you go to Ganga Sagar, where Gangaji meets the ocean, which is in Bengal. You can go even from Kolkata, you can see. So where Gangaji meets the ocean, there you go. Ganga Sagar Gamanam is a pilgrimage, a symbol of pilgrimage. That you try to sublimate the desire through something higher. So Ganga Sagar you can go to. One meaning is that. One tradition is that people go to Ganga Sagar. Second is, take the water of Gangaji and go to the Sagar. Which means what? From Varanasi you take that water and walk down all the way to Rameshwaram and do the Abhishek of Shivji there with that Ganga water, and then take the mud from Rameshwaram, sand, and go walk up till Varanasi and do the Abhishek of Shivji in Varanasi with that sand. So idea is again, there is a pilgrimage. In our culture, pilgrimage is called as Tirtha. So Tirtha means Tiryate Anaya iti Tirtha, by which one crosses over the negatives of the mind. It's called as a Tirtha. So, or Tarati Anena iti Tirtha, by which one swims across the ocean of samsara. Either of these meanings. So the idea is that when we do a pilgrimage, the way in which we are supposed to do pilgrimage is like this. That we withdraw from all other worldly ways of living, start doing japa, start living in self-control, have a clear aim that I need to go there to this particular place, and prepare oneself. On the way keep doing satsang. One doesn't carry lots and lots of food and all that. Basic things one carries, and then on the way, as life brings, one will keep facing it. So that acceptance of what comes, all that one learns. Because even earlier days when yatris used to go, people would support them. And even today it happens in the north, if you see. Not only north, south also it happens. So many places it happens. Sabrimala pilgrimage, so many people go. And there are lots of people on the way who will support them. Same way for the north also. So idea is that one doesn't have to carry that baggage. One travels light. And the objective is to have darshan of Bhagavan there. Objective is not to click pictures and put up on the Facebook. It was ridiculous, one day before, yesterday only, one couple got married. They just got married. Not even 1 minute over, taking the picture and got married. Immediate. What happens if you put after? Ritual is still going on. But in between, tatak.
Access to you can keeping the camera on and doing live feed.
No, that is still okay because somebody is putting that camera and then live telecast, something is happening, that manageable. This is so ridiculous. The ritual is going on, Pandit is chanting mantra and havan and all that is happening. The fellow takes out the phone, puts it on the Facebook. What is this? एक बार लाइफ में शादी करने वाले हो, वो भी रिचुअल के साथ. आज तो कोई करता नहीं ठीक से, अब उसमें भी. So when people go to pilgrimage also, how much picture. And first find out which is the 5-star hotel there. Instead of finding out who is the Mahatma there, who I should go and meet first. ये होटल किधर है पहले, और आजू बाजू के साइट सीइंग की जगह क्या है. Then if it is worth it, then I will go. Otherwise, why should I go? सिर्फ बद्रीनाथ जाने का क्या मतलब? आजू बाजू कुछ है देखने को. सिद्धबारी से तो हम जरा दार्जिलिंग जाके आएंगे. नॉट दार्जिलिंग, व्हाट इज दैट? डलहौजी जाके आएंगे. सिद्धबारी तो 3 दिन का कैंप, चलो ठीक है. आजू बाजू शिमला, डलहौजी, मनाली, अच्छा एक कॉम्बिनेशन करके. Then that is called sightseeing. That is not called tirtha. So the idea is that when we do tirtha, when we do pilgrimage, and in our culture it is said everybody should do at least one tirtha yatra in one's life. Meaning once at least one tries to live in complete surrender that whatever Bhagavan gives I am going to accept. I am not going to insist, and my mind will remain focused on the Lord. He says Kurute Ganga Sagar Gamanam. You may try to do that. Vrata Paripalanam. You may take up a vow saying that okay, Maun Vrat or Chandrayan Vrat or some Upvas or whatever, some different types of vratas are there. Vrata will help to develop strong willpower. So you can do vrata also. Athva danam, or you can do charity. Meaning be generous, share whatever you have, don't be possessive, all that. He says even this will not work. In managing desire, even this will not work. Why? He says jnana vihina sarva matena. Everyone is of the opinion that without the right knowledge, bhajatena muktim janmashatena, one can never become free from desire, and one can never get liberation ultimate also. Knowledge is most important there. So here the idea is to emphasize on the importance of knowledge. Knowledge of what? What jnana is this? Knowledge of my nature as Atma, as Purnata, as Sukha, as Ananda. Because all desires are meant for that. I want to become happy, I want to become peaceful, I want to become more and more harmonious with the world around. Why all that? Because I don't know that my nature is that. So the basic flaw in understanding is what gives rise to more desire. The basic flaw in understanding is this, that I need happiness from outside, whether material or spiritual. And here Shankaracharya says that neither material nor spiritual will give you happiness from outside unless you don't acquire knowledge. Each of us have to acquire that knowledge of what is that which is Purna and what is that I am actually seeking. Desire is not sought for its own fulfillment, actually. We have seen that in our basics earlier. That we seek a thing not for its own sake, and we don't enjoy it also for its own sake. We want it only because it makes me happy. So what we actually seek is happiness. But we forget that. Again and again and again we have to tell ourselves that desire is only a means, happiness is the main purpose. And then what is the connection between desire and happiness then? First fundamental must be clear, that happiness and desire, the connection between these two. In the beginning is happiness is the goal, desire is the means. But if I inquire a little deeper, is it possible to get happiness by fulfillment of desires? Because the nature of happiness that I want is permanent happiness. And every desire, however glorious it may be, can only lead to temporary pleasure. So then, we saw that you cannot drop desire, one cannot suppress desire, one cannot escape from the desire. Even spiritual pursuits without the right understanding, that's what he means. The idea of this shloka is not to tell us ki chalo bhai mukta ho gaye. No need to do tirtha, no need to do vrata, no need to do anything. And those people who are already doing, mock at them. देखा, मैंने तो बोला था, इसका क्या मतलब? No point. मत करो उसको. क्या होने वाला है उससे? It's not to mock at them. The idea is to know that foundation has to be clarity. That how desire plays in our mind. That when we don't know our nature is happiness, then a desire always arises in the heart. And based on my vasana, I will choose something or the other as my source of fulfillment. And then become dependent that only when I get that, then I will become happy. So if I know that no, happiness is my nature, I don't depend on the desire for fulfillment, number one. Number two, the deeper inquiry reveals the connection between desire and happiness. Normally one thinks that happiness comes by fulfilling more and more desire, so people want to maximize desire fulfillment. So Gurudev used to give us that equation of happiness. Happiness is equal to number of desires fulfilled by number of desires entertained. So if I have 100 desires and 60 are fulfilled, then my happiness quotient is 60. If 80 are fulfilled, happiness quotient is 80. So generally what one tries to do, maximize the fulfillment of desires, which is the material approach. But Vedanta tells us that each desire that is fulfilled is actually going to give rise to more desires. So more desires is equal to more thoughts is equal to more agitation. That has to go into our mind very clearly. Our equation in our mind today is more desire fulfillment is equal to more happiness. But I am not able to see that it is creating, that itself is a seed for more agitation, more disharmony. So more desire is equal to more thoughts is equal to more agitation. No, we are coming to it. Step by step we are coming to it. Fundamental has to be knowledge. Then there are many other things which have to be there. For us today, otherwise by itself knowledge is more than enough. There is nothing required. Nothing required. But we are not ready for that knowledge. That's our problem. What knowledge we are talking about is informative knowledge. Because the mind is not yet ready. So I will come to that connection. So happiness comes not by fulfilling more and more desires. Happiness comes by reducing the desires entertained. If you see the child, what desire the child has? Maximum the child wants to, very small child, just needs some food, sleep, comfort or security of the mother. That's all the child needs. Very happy. Because no other desires. At that stage the child is incapable of thinking and having that many desires. That's a limitation of example. But have you seen the reason why we feel so happy looking at a child is because the child is desireless. The child is expressing spontaneous joy, which is our true nature actually. And looking at the child, that innocence, that spontaneity, we are touched. So more desires entertained is equal to more agitation, more thought. Lesser the number of desires. So Gurudev always used to tell us in that equation, instead of increasing the numerator, reduce the denominator. So instead of 100 desires, if I have only 80 desires and 60 are fulfilled, very good. And mathematically speaking, if that desire entertained becomes 0, then happiness becomes infinite. So the state of desirelessness is the happiness. First I must have that knowledge that lesser desire is equal to more happiness. Because happiness is not coming from outside, it is my nature which is revealing itself the moment my mind becomes free of a desire and quiet. And this you and I can experience in every moment of the life. The moment there is a desire, just be aware of the agitation that it causes. This is practical Vedanta. You don't look for some other technique to do. Because techniques have limitation, and if I have to understand my mind's working. The moment there is a desire, let us go to see. What? Okay, Ram Leela, chalo. Slowly we will go to see Ram Leela. So then the moment that thought comes in the mind, you may say, but it is natural. No, I want to see a movie and it's a Sunday. What is wrong? It's not about right and wrong. It's about being aware of what it does to the mind. And immediately that thought processes will start after that. Where to go, how to go, with whom to go, how much will it cost, what to eat after that. Tuck, 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 one by one it will start. And if there is a dependence on that desire, then the more insistence on that desire, then more unhappiness can come out of it. So if I start becoming aware that the moment a desire arises, mind becomes disturbed. I have to know that by myself, not by the book telling us. I have to see it for myself that more desire is equal to more thoughts is equal to more agitation. Not in disharmonious sense of negative thinking, but just thoughts, extra thought. So if I see it for myself, then slowly I understand then I don't entertain more desires. Slowly, slowly desires reduce. Many people think that this reduction of desire will happen by time. On its own it will happen. If that was the case, that shloka would not have been there. Angam galitam palitam mundam. If that was the case, half the cosmetic industry would have closed down by now. But every day new ways of looking younger and younger are being brought out. So the idea is that a person merely by just time ki I have enjoyed so many things, I will become dispassionate. That will not happen. Only by conscious thinking that will happen.
Would it be okay even if the desire comes, if it's fulfilled you're okay, even if it's not fulfilled you're okay, irrespective, then is it okay or like you gave the example of a movie?
It is definitely better than insisting on fulfillment, but compared to that what I can be, if it is not there, the state of desirelessness, compared to that state of desirelessness, the detachment from desire and not depending on that is much better. But desirelessness is something else.
Like you said, movie, like go okay, even if you don't go and don't see what's in it.
But that is because that particular thing I have risen above. So I am not so interested in that movie, let us say, but I may be attached to something else. So that happens in our life. Some things we are not so insistent on, which we may have been insistent at a certain stage in life, but we have outgrown those. Like that earlier verse of Bhaja Govindam which said, childhood toys, pleasure of the youth, tendency of the old age. So the object has only changed, but the tendency to get attached has not gone. So those kind of desires which are there, on which I don't depend for fulfillment, is okay to fulfill them. But remember, every desire fulfilled also creates an impression. It creates a vasana, which depends on many other factors, that what is my intention behind the fulfillment, what is the way in which I am fulfilling it, all that. And that type of a vasana will get created on the mind. In meditation you will, instead of remembering Ram, you will remember something else only. Though I may not have had a strong desire to see that, but when I have seen that movie, impact has been made. Pictures are forming on my mind, song, something will haunt in my head, it will go on. So the natural process will happen only, that one cannot avoid. So the idea in this is that some desires we may be able to rise like this, some we may not be able to rise, we are attached to that. So first thing is to understand that more desire is equal to more agitation, is equal to more unhappiness. Yeah, compared to desirelessness, remember. So that's why we are not saying here, okay, drop all desires. That one shot, that is not possible only to do. So it is better to have, like he said here, tirtha, yatra, all this one can do, better than living an indulgent life. But remember, by itself that cannot give moksha, because many people think that कि हम तो ये तीर्थ यात्रा करके आ गए, अब हमको मोक्ष मिलेगा. क्या मोक्ष मिलेगा? Just because you have gone to one Chardham and come back, मोक्ष मिल जाएगा. How that will happen? Till I don't know who I am, there is no mukti. That's what Shankaracharya ji says, that your nature is purnata. Till that knowledge intuitively doesn't arise in me, that my nature is that purnata, my nature is ananda, my swarupa is sukha, freedom from desire will not happen. One has to be tired of that desire. See, that is the issue. Issue is we are not tired of desire. Issue is for us, that is the way to keep ourselves engaged and entertained. Because the state of desirelessness looks boring. What is this? Desireless? Means you won't desire anything. What a dry life. This is our assumption. This is called moha. Moha is not just about fascination for some things. Moha is all these wrong notions. And desirelessness is equal to dullness. Vedanta says desirelessness is bliss. It's a state of complete freedom. And we all have been desireless for so many times, but we don't recognize it. When we see such a lovely scene in nature, let us say you go we went to Sidbari and came back. Such beautiful mountains and all that. Is there a desire in my mind to possess that mountain? वो मेरा हो तो कितना अच्छा. No desire. You just enjoy the expression of beauty. And that desirelessness only makes us enjoy. The moment that thought comes कि ये मेरा होगा, बस खत्म. Then that happiness goes away. After that the agitation is इसको कैसे लेंगे? It happens with anything. A small rose also. You can appreciate the beauty of a beautiful rose. But the moment the thought comes that how nice if I have it in my head, bus, then starts the desire. In childhood we have been desireless. When we are absorbed in our work, we don't have desires. When a desire itself is fulfilled, then also we don't have desires. But we don't recognize that gap because the next desire is already waiting. There are many moments in our life where we have become desireless. But we just don't recognize it because that vision is not there. So if I know this very clearly, that desirelessness is equal to happiness. And desirelessness is very important to gain the knowledge of the self. Why? Because as long as there is a dependency on desire, mind will be extrovert. One cannot turn it within and be quiet in meditation. That won't happen only. Any desire will push the mind outside. That's why in Upanishads it is said, even the desire for liberation should go away in the mind of that disciple. Kathopanishad, one shloka, second half of that shloka says, what is that line? Nashanta manaso vapi prajnanenainam apnuyat. That the mind which has been having a desire for liberation is itself ashanta. Because I am intensely wanting liberation. Wanting, meaning it is not there now, I will get it by this process. It's a result of my activity of meditation. He says no. Even that. स्वामी जी वो डिजायर से तो हम कब के मुक्त हो चुके हैं, वो तो डिजायर है ही नहीं हमारे. So that is what? So that desire, mumukshutvam and desire to get liberated, all that is necessary to get away from all other desires. But ultimately that desire also has to go. Because that is, the realization is not a product of that desire. That desire is an obstacle in that actually. Because I am already of the nature of peace and happiness. It's just like sleep. If you have that thought, I want to sleep, then with that thought what do? Drop all other thoughts, no? Suppose you say, no, anyway that thought also has to be dropped, so no need of that thought. Then one can't sleep only. So with the help of thought that I don't want to entertain anything else, I want to sleep, every other thought is given up. And the intention for sleeping is so strong that ultimately that thought also drops and one is sucked into sleep. Same way. So ultimately even the desire for liberation, that's why he says here that you may do any amount of spiritual practice, by itself they will not give moksha. Only knowledge will give us moksha, because our problem is ignorance. I don't know my nature is happiness. That problem can go only by intuitive self-knowledge. And for that intuitive self-knowledge, the mind must be available. And that mind which is full of desire is extroverted. So the connection between desire and knowledge also is this, that the greater the number of desires, dimmer is my knowledge. So those who say that, हम वेदांत पढ़ रहे इतने साल से लेकिन कुछ नहीं हुआ क्यों? Because the desire I have not worked on. I have not managed my desires appropriately and learned to rise above them and finally transcend them completely. That I have not learned. That heart is still loaded with so much of vasana, pressure and desire, that even if I have knowledge, it is informative knowledge, it is intellectual knowledge, it is not my conviction, It is not my intuition. So then that knowledge will not bring about that experience of freedom. So he says, Jnana Vihina Sarva Matena. So one is the clarity that desire is equal to agitation, desirelessness is equal to happiness, and consciously one has to work on that desire to reduce and to transcend, so that ultimately self-knowledge will arise. This is one aspect of desire management, which is the goal.
Does that mean that desire will come in our mind?
Yeah.
So we should not focus on them or entertain. It's not possible to stop that.
Yeah. So it is right now not possible to stop the flow. They come, from where they come also we don't know. Suddenly they rise. It is possible to control some of the things. That's where discipline is actually. About what I see, hear, taste, smell, touch. Because desire comes out of two main sources. One is perception, second is memory. By perception I don't mean only what we see. By perception, whatever we see, hear, taste, smell, touch, everything. So from that desire arises. So if I understand that, then I can at least control some aspects of it. In the beginning, that is what needs to be done. So I'll come to the step-by-step approach now. It is not possible not to focus on them also. Like desire for, let us say there needs to be my education for my son. So then that desire will be there. I cannot say that I don't want to focus on that. I will have to educate him. For that I will have to earn. For that I will have to do some work. I will have to have certain goals, targets. All that is going to happen. Vedanta is not against any of these. Because as we saw earlier, it is not possible to have no desire at all while living. Dependence on desire can be removed, and managing of desires can be done intelligently. So the idea is this, that the person must learn to manage the desires well. So in desire management, some simple practical points are, first and foremost, whatever is prohibited, those desires should be just removed. There one has to say no very, very clearly and firmly, saying this is not acceptable, I say no to this. Value system must be in place for this. Clarity about right and wrong must be in place for this. Weak-minded people will justify and appear intellectual when they say there is nothing called right and wrong. What is nothing called right and wrong? We are obviously right and wrong. And that must be clear to us. There is nothing wrong in doing corruption. Why? Everybody is doing it. Hello? Everybody is in bondage. Many don't even know that. So, just because majority is doing it doesn't make it right. So what is prohibited is prohibited. It should be out. First step of desire management is my capacity to say no to any desire which is harmful for me and harmful for people around me.
But how do I remove it? Like, for example, gambling is bad, but sometimes human nature for that quick money, sometimes you can just be again thinking on those lines.
So that is where this answer is in your question only, that quick money. Why do I want quick money? Why can't I follow? The second step is that now, that follow desires, fulfill the desires which are legitimate, permissible desires through legitimate means. Why do I want to fulfill them through illegitimate means? Just because I want to do it quickly, no? Just because I want to rise very fast in unreasonable space and time. In the Gita 7th chapter, Bhagavan says that Dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava, that O Bharatarshava, O best among the Bharatas, know me to be the desire which is not devoid of, not against dharma. Dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamah asmi aham. So Bhagavan says that in the human mind, that desire which is not against dharma and which is not fulfilled violating dharma, that desire, I am that desire. That is how all progress etc. has happened. Because the Lord functions, Ichha Shakti, I said earlier, Ichha Swatantra we have is the blessing of Bhagavan only, which can be used for our progress, which can be used for the harmony of the society, which can be used for creative expression. Vedanta is not against desire. Vedanta is against that desire, number one, which is harmful, against that desire which makes me extrovert and dependent and takes me away from my nature. When I follow dharma and I fulfill the desire through the dharmic way, I am reducing my vasana pressure. That's why Arjuna was told that fight this war, because your swadharma is this. And if you don't fight, you will create more trouble for yourself. So this human tendency which is there to do anything quick, fast, with this greed that is called, which we saw in the second shloka. Yallabhase nija karmopatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. Simple point of life that is, but how many people, all of us get stuck into that, where we are not content with what effort dharmically we can put and we can make what out of it and be happy with it. Because somewhere attachment comes. My children also must have all the same facilities as other children, so cutthroat competition, so cut everybody's throat. But then in the value that I am imparting to the child is that through any means I can do. So greed plays a big role, and that greed mindset is minimum effort, maximum profit. That is what makes us do all these shortcuts. If human being understands the importance of struggle in life and struggle with the righteous means, half the problems in the world will get solved only. How many people want to struggle in life, you tell me? They don't want to struggle in life. We want to settle in comfort zone, and that's why we said earlier that comfort is one of the main motivators behind desire and behind making us compromise with dharma. If one learn to struggle in life, many of these things won't even happen. And today's children don't want to struggle. Parents don't want them to struggle. That's the sad part. One parent proclaims so proudly, मेरा बेटा कभी ट्रेन में नहीं जाएगा, लोकल ट्रेन में. What a foolish thing. भेजो उसको लोकल ट्रेन में, देखने दो क्या है लाइफ का स्ट्रगल. नहीं, वो तो मर्क में जाएगा. क्या मर्क में जाएगा? पड़ा रहेगा फिर कंफर्ट जोन में. Send, let him struggle. Go in that local train in that peak hours and see what it is. Then you know the value of money, then you know what it is to struggle, then you know what is hard work, then you know what the father has gone through to give you this. But no. I'm just giving you one example. Like that, there are so many comfort zones in which the children are trapped. They may feel good about it, but we have paralyzed them actually. It's like always giving them, what is that? Support to walk. It's like a crutch. That always comfort has to be there, Now, two people, I don't know whether I told you this. One Indian and one foreigner, two of them, they decided to live for 1 month on what is the basic minimum, I forgot the name, that like basic minimum which a common man earns in a day. It's not a wage, but I forgot the economic term for it. Like 25 rupees is that amount per day.
Subsistence.
Huh?
Subsistence.
No, not subsistence level. There is, I forget now. I'll tell you. Not stipend. Yeah, that definition of poverty line is defined by that amount, that basic minimum. This is 25 rupees is the amount for that poverty line thing. So they said, let us live for 25. Let us live in 25 rupees and see. A whole day you have to spend for in 25 rupees. And you know what they discovered? They said that when we had to live in 25 rupees, most of our time went in only thinking about from where the next meal will come, because I have to save for that. And they started walking more, they started exploring more, they started making friendships more, and they survived like that for 1 full month. And they said, for things which we have never been grateful for, today we are very grateful for that, because we know that amount of struggle that goes behind that. Imagine breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, and this they have done in a village. No, not a village, in a small town. In city, though impossible, you cannot live with that 25 rupees. So why I am saying this is that struggle is an important factor in understanding desire and managing desire. Those who are not ready to struggle will opt for shortcuts. One is not saying you keep struggling with those basic necessities of life. In leadership, they always say this, Suppose two people want to climb a mountain. What is very important, you tell me? Is it the timing? Is it the skill? It is the weather conditions? Is it the tools? What is important? Perseverance, willpower, cooperation. You know what is most important? There should be a mountain to climb. It sounds very silly, but you think about it, how many people have a mountain to climb in their life? Our life is flat ground. What mountain am I attempting to climb right now? Am I struggling against something? Maybe anger, maybe greed, maybe lust, maybe procrastination. What is the mountain that I am struggling to climb? There has to be a struggle in one's life. If there is no struggle, finished, you are dead, already dead. Forget dying later. That is only physical death. But struggle has to be there in life. That is the only way to keep the mind in check. So prohibited desires, completely say no to it. Legitimate desires, fulfill through legitimate means. And there is nothing wrong about it. Our culture never shuns desires. It is a systematic way to rise above desires. The last stage is desirelessness. So as I go through desires, through legitimate means, I start seeing the limitation of it. That no matter what I do, there is still that emptiness which remains. Then the focus shifts to the third aspect, where not only I am fulfilling the legitimate desires through the legitimate means, but I stop wanting more and more, because I become aware of that emptiness, and I start seeking higher and higher. Those who come to satsang will seek that. Otherwise, that's what Vedanta say. What management says is the horizontal growth. Same thing more and more and more only. It's just changing the name and form, that's all. Same enjoyments again and again. Some different way, that's all. So instead of wanting more and more, one tries to grow higher and higher. Tries to go deeper and deeper. That's where one starts introspection, one starts coming to satsang, one starts attending things to get the fundamentals clear. Fourth step is, whatever one does to fulfill that desire, even if it is dharmic, that is not enough. Because even the dharmic desires fulfilled in a dharmic way will create an impression, because the Siddhanta is the same. Then what to do? Dedicate it to the Lord. That is what we say is Karma Yoga. That whatever desire is fulfilled, we say Narayanaya iti samarpayami. I dedicate it to Bhagavan. What will the dedication do? The dedication will bring about surrender. of the ego, which will lead to Purnata. That dedication will make the mind less and less extrovert and ready for meditation and knowledge, intuitive knowledge. So fourth is, while fulfilling the desire, dedicated to Bhagavan. And there is one more aspect in this. Our kartavya karma, our duty, is a very powerful means for desire management. Generally people never understand that point because we have never been taught that. Just think about it. As long as the mind has kartavya to do, duties to focus on, it has a direction. The mind which does not want to focus on duties becomes directionless. Duties keep desires away, some of the desires away. Because I have to prioritize. Now suppose I have a duty as a student to study well. I may like to go and enjoy and have a party and disco and whatever, but the moment I focus on my duty that I have to study, even if the desire arises, I say no. I don't give attention to it. So desires management, one of the beautiful ways is focus on the duty. Pleasure will go away. I have duty towards my parents. I have duty towards my country. I have duty towards my own self, towards nature. Just think about it. We do even basic duties, what we do, in that also we crib. And so many basic duties which we have, we don't even focus on, what we spoke earlier. Towards the country, towards humanity, towards nature, so many things we don't focus only. The moment we start focusing on the duty, automatically all the unnecessary things will start going away. That's a way to manage desire. So 5 points here now. First, remove all the prohibited desires, gone. 2, fulfill the desires in a dharmic way. Fulfill dharmic desires in a dharmic way, please remember. The desire also must be dharmic, means also must be dharmic. 3, continue to perform kartavya karma. Focus more on kartavya karma. 4, don't aspire for more and more, aspire for higher and higher, aspire for deeper and deeper. And 5, whatever is done, dedicated to the Lord. Now if these 5 are done, what will be the result? The result will be this, that I don't have to suppress desire. I don't have to be a victim of desire. I don't have to run away from a desire. I can fulfill that desire, rise above them, gain the knowledge of the truth. Because in this process I am making myself ready for the knowledge of the truth. But if I don't follow this method, then what happens is I become victim of the desire. Or I suppress, or I escape, or I indulge. Or I just believe blindly that by doing some ritual I will be free of desire. It will not happen. That's why he says, Jnana vihina sarva matena bhajatina muktim janma shatena. There are some desires, the mind which has followed all these is a mind which is ready for understanding Vedanta, is a mind which has tuned itself. So Karma Yoga is the first step in Vedanta. One more aspect to desire management is make the desire subtle and expand the scope of the desire. Meaning what? If I want to look beautiful, is my desire that I must be beautiful, then not only that I should look beautiful at the physical level, let me start seeing what is the beauty at the mind level and start cultivating those aspects. If I want appreciation, for all my good work that I have done, then let there be the desire for appreciation that he is such a nice devotee. So the same desire, but I have made it subtle, so that the desire no more is just keeping me gross and bound, but helps me in the evolution. So one is make it subtle, and second is expand. Expand means what? Not expand the desire, expand the scope of the beneficiaries of that desire. These two are said by Vinoba Bhave. So what he said is, suppose I want to eat ice cream, natural desire. Don't stop. Make 10 people eat ice cream, then you eat. That is called expanding the beneficiaries of the desire. That will reduce my selfishness. Expand the beneficiaries of the desire. But if I was alone the beneficiary, that I want to eat ice cream, I want money, that's why that word dana is also given here. That share. No? Expand. If I want to go somewhere, enjoy something, take some more people along. Go. Yeah, take no. Yeah, take and go. The idea is, the objective there is that at least it is, the focus is shifting from I to we, us. And to that extent one is becoming selfless. These are different approaches. See, each one has to manage according to their own. We need different times, different methods to manage different types of desires. The same approach will not work at all times, because it depends on our mood of the mind also. The ultimate objective should be clear, is the first one what we spoke. To understand clearly that desirelessness is equal to happiness, and knowledge of the self is equal to happiness. That must be very, very clear to me. Now in that, if there is anything which is coming on the way, there are different of these methods to overcome. There are some desires which you can think them out. Just think and they should go, they will go. Because we have not thought in that manner. So many times we desire so many things because we see only pleasurable side. This Bhaja Govindam is telling us all the painful side, na? Pratipaksha Bhavana it is called. Who has ever thought, who tells anybody that until we come to satsang, we don't know that the body is made up of dirt and filth and fecal matter, and it is not a source of joy. Maybe doctors know. But I always wonder why they don't get vairagya and mumukshutvam. Because that vision is not there. No? Others every day in and out, one is opening, cutting up the body, seeing what is there inside it, suturing it up, putting it back. So if I think Pratipaksha Bhavana is again another powerful method to drop desire. That again and again I see the painful side of it. Desire for power, desire for relationships, desire for enjoyment, different desires. One has to see the painful side. The more I see the painful side, and the more I see the benefit of desirelessness and satsang, I will drop. So some has to be thought out, some has to be indulged in and rise above it. Someone has to prohibit it completely. Someone should dedicate it. Different approaches are there. But ultimate is this: jnana vihina sarvamatena bhajatina muktim janmashatena. So for today we will stop here. We have in this December month, I'll tell you the classes. Have I given you the dates? So today is 8th, no? So we have class every Sunday now till 12th January, and by then we will complete life management techniques. So what are these Sundays now? Yeah, so we have 15, 22, 29, 5 and 12. 15, 22, 29, 5, 12. 5 classes. I think in 5 classes Bhaja Govindam should be over. 12th Jan is supposed to be National Youth Day. It is National Youth Day. It is the birthday of Swami Vivekananda. So just let me confirm that one day, because we may have a session that day. So yes, 15th we have, 22 we have, 29th also we have, 5th we have, and 12th we have. Right. But that class of 12th may be 9 to 10, maybe 1 hour, maybe a little early, 8:30 to 10. Or 8:30 to, yeah, 8:30 to 10. Because we have to go to Powai after that. I have to go to Powai after that. So. After Bhaja Govindam, there is a small break. There is a yagna in February we have here in Jai Hind College. And after that, we will take up Secret of Success to Fulfillment, which is Hanuman Chalisa. So we will do some Hanuman Chalisa. But now all those things I am making it into specific number of sessions. So it will be like a 10 sessions course on success to fulfillment. Then after that we do, I think, Tattva Bodh or something like that. I fixed up whole year's itinerary. So I will let you know. In Jan we have 2 programs. One is a show called India 2047. What is the vision of India after 100 years of its independence? Where we should be. So this is happening on 26th Jan in Jai Hind College. And on 25th we have Adrishya, which is about Saraswati civilization and developed India and self-knowledge. 3 aspects of Saraswati. Yeah, but we have made a lot of changes in that. First, which we did in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, concept remains the same, but made it a little more lighter and all that. So Adrishya will happen on 25th Jan evening, Jai Hind College, 7 to 9. India 2047 will happen again, Jai Hind College, on 26th Jan, 7 to 9. Passes will come out for it, and please encourage maximum people to come, because our idea is, for us, show is a medium to convey this knowledge in a very interesting and in a creative way. So this you can, there are these pamphlets which are there, you can give it to people. In a week's time the donor passes will come. There is also sponsorship for this. If anybody is interested, if you know any corporates who would like to sponsor, or any individuals, and let them sponsor. The idea is to raise the funds through this for our Gurudev's birth centenary celebration, for the projects that we are taking up for it. And what are the projects? You will find the projects in this. We want to have Gurudev on television. We want to have a nice exhibition of him, of his life and his work around the Kutia in Sandipani. And there are also, there's a whole week Guruji has given to us in December 2015, from 13th December to 20th December, where we are doing different things. So this is a meeting in January again on 19th, which we are calling, where people can form, we are going to form various teams for all these projects. And so if you want to serve, offer your time and effort to help in coordinating this different things that we have, then please do come for this meeting. If you earlier indicate to us that, okay, I would like to get involved in this particular project, or I know some people who can help in this project, etc., then you can let us know well in advance itself, and then we can even prepare before this meeting. So this is in Powai. It is a full day program, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You are welcome to attend this. Please be a volunteer. We need a lot of people to make Gurudev's centenary year a grand celebration. You can even share this with your own friends, other class members, anybody. And the team need not be only elders, even youth you can get them into. Suppose you have your youngsters or middle-aged people, brothers, sisters, whoever it is, please bring them into this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.